Without any further delay, I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Valentina Guerra. Valentina holds a doctorate in engineering from the University of Warwick and has since gone into an industrial career in processing optimization, automation, and project management. Now specializing in project management, Valentina has successfully led complex projects from the conceptualization to execution, leveraging her existing materials and technical knowledge to achieve results. Her talk today will discuss the challenge of transitioning from academia to industry, relating it to the situations that may have been familiar to you as a PhD student, such as managing complex projects, meeting the expectations of industry, and working in a fast-paced environment. This new setting can bring a complexity and urgency, but in bringing in new project management skills, you can be better prepared to navigate and thrive in industry. Personally, I have come from a research background. I would have found the tools like this really valuable at the time and have found them to be useful in my role now. So I'm really looking forward to this talk today. Over to you, Valentina.
Thank you very much, George. So I'm going to share my screen. So please just let me know if you can see it just fine. Does anybody see my screen?
It's just, yeah, I can see the program.
Okay.
Can see the PowerPoint.
Yes. Can you see now the full screen?
Not, oh, yes, can now, yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you very much, everybody. Like George mentioned, this webinar is to show you the importance and the critical importance of project management skills when moving from academia to the industry. So let's dive into it. A quick introduction about myself. So I'm Valentina, I'm an engineer. I completed my doctorate in nanocomposites materials and manufacturing at Warwick University. After that, I moved into the industry. It was that of a smooth passage, but it was fully worth it for my perspective. And after that, I worked for different companies where I had the possibility, the opportunities to work on different projects, ranging from product development and introduction, process improvement, lean manufacturing, composites materials, formulation, so all sorts of engineering and STEM fields that I found it useful because they had me improve and expand my expertise. And nowadays, I founded Engineering Success because I want to support academics like you transition from academia to industry, and I want to support people like you to overcome the challenges that I faced myself. We can all do it. If I did it, you can. So let's start, everybody. So what are the challenges when you want to transition from academia to industry? So from PhD to industry. So let's start to dive into it. The first one is competition. So I think we are all aware that there are so many talents, so many engineers talents and STEM talents out there. And therefore, we need to stand out somehow when we want to move into the industry. And this means that having academic skills, the hard knowledge of academic skills are necessary, but there must be something that help us shine in the arena of the job hunting and industry. So competition is high, but don't take it in a negative way. Take it as a way to improve yourself, as a challenge to improve yourself and make yourself present better and learn new skills and improve. The second challenge is that it's hard work. I always say to everybody who joins my webinars, my coaching sessions, that finding and hunting a job is a job. And you have to apply the same type of consistency and passion that you put in your research in finding a job. You need to be systematic and you need to actually put some time aside. It's not something that you have to do every now and then, but it's something you really need to put your effort into it. Another challenge, skills gap. So I think this is something that we are all aware of. We all hear in the news that there is a huge misgap between what academia tell us to do and what the industry is requiring. Now, this is partially true. What do I mean by this? Is that all the academic knowledge, all the hard knowledge that we learn from academia is essential, but we need to translate it somehow in what the industry is requiring. And I'm going to show you later in the webinar what's the industry demand, what are they requiring, and how we can bridge this skill gap. Expectations. So this is another challenge, people. When we move from academia to industry, we think that we may aspire to the highest role in the industry. We can get there, absolutely. We have all the texture, all the skills, the fabric to get there, but it's a gradual step. So we need to be sure what's the market, what's the job market, and what kind of roles we can apply to. We have enough experience when we come from academia that we can aim to good job roles, but equally we need to be mindful that higher roles may require more experience in the industry that at this level we don't have yet. Okay, so it's important to set the expectations correctly. Goals. This is another challenge because this was a challenge for me as well when I tried to apply for jobs and moved into the industry. It's important to have clear in mind what we want to do. Not so much about roles we want to grow into, but in terms of activities, field of work. What do we like to do? It's important to have clear this in mind because recruiters will see right through you during an interview. They want to see if you are driven people, if you have clear in mind what's the type of skills you want to improve, what kind of area you like to work in, and how do you what do you want to do to achieve their goals? So not so much about the rules, but it's about the skills, it's about the vision that we got for our own lives. So as you can see, this goes way above, way beyond the pure academic knowledge. It's about ourselves. And it's important that we start to think ourselves as much more than just the research, than just the title, start to think ourselves as people with vision, and we need to put passion into this vision and make it clear when we transition into the industry so that we can set the path correctly. Okay? Now, to overcome the challenges, we need to go all the way down to the root cause, okay? So let's dive into it. Let's start with all the positives, all the strengths that we engineers coming from academia have. And this is actually something that can be extended to all STEM professionals. So let's dive into it. First one, passion. I think it's a fair statement that we as an engineer working in academia and in a doctorate research postdoctorate program, we have passion. I don't think anybody here has a dark wish to wake up in the morning and say, okay, I want to be rejected from the paper review once again. I don't think this is something that we like to do. So the reason why we do what we are doing is because we have passion for research, passion for innovation, passion for knowledge. Is this a fair statement? Please pop in the chat or in the Q&A box. I'd like to see your opinion, please. Has anybody get access to the Q&A box?
Hi, Valentina. I think everyone should have access, and I think I've managed to set the chat.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Okay. But please let me know if you can't use the chat.
No problem, no problem. So it's using the chat. Okay, so you can pop in the chat when I ask questions, or if you want to ask me questions, you can even use the chat. So this is one of the first important strengths that we as an engineer from the industry have. What's the next one? To me, we have creativity. Why do I think we have creativity? Maybe we are not so much of an artistic people. I can't speak for everybody. I'm not very artistic, but definitely we've got creativity because every time we go into the lab and we fail an experiment, we have to reinvent ourselves to find a solution and to find a new way to bring up the results that we want to. So we need to reinvent ourselves every day, which means that we possess creativity. This is a huge advantage because reinventing ourselves every day to find a solution is something that is huge. It's valuable not only for the industry, but for ourselves in our life. We've also got resilience. This is connected to what I've just said. Every time we go into the lab and every time we need to pick up ourselves and say, okay, I failed here. I need to try again. This is something that's going to help us build resilience, which is important in the industry world because things don't get our way every time. I think we all know that. So during our research experience in academia, we are building a skill that is going to be our best companion for the whole life, the resilience. Ambition. I think we are all ambitious, okay? We are all ambitious because we want to make the difference. Everybody want to win the Nobel Prize when we think about, oh, I want to start a research program at academia. We all want to make a difference. So this is good ambition. It's good. And we need to keep channeling this ambition even after academia. We need to channel it correctly when we move it into the industry. And I'm going to explain what I mean in a few seconds. Knowledge. Who can argue with this? This is quite self-explanatory. People from academia, they spend years on research, they have a huge and wealth amount of knowledge. This is important as well, particularly on very technical aspects like engineering when we move into the industry. But again and again, we need to channel this knowledge in the right way to make it useful in the industry world. All of these skills are all powerful. However, presented like this, they are intangible in the industry world. They are essential, but presented like this, they are intangible. Why? And I'm going to talk you through. Because what the industry wants to see is way more practical and pragmatic. What the industry wants to see is, first of all, work management. They want to see if their resources are able to manage their own work and quite possibly other people's work. Time management. They want to see if you deliver the job in time and quite possibly manage other people's times and delivery schedules. Budgets. So this is one of the main critical points when moving from academia to industry. Normally in academia, we apply for funds, then we get the funds and we work with that budgets. In the industry, it's slightly different. You need to prove that whatever you do is generating profit for the industry. I always say these things with the same thing when I have webinars with other academics. All the big parameters, all the big knowledge of engineers, all the equations that we learn, they need to be somehow transformed into profit. That's the only variable, that's the only parameters that the industry understand. Whatever you do, you need to prove that you are generating profit, which means you need to understand how money works in the industry. People management. I think this is the most challenging skills that the industry wants to see. Money, yes, it's important. Profit is paramount. You need to learn it. That's something that you can learn quite fairly by either training, by other books, by other seeing what other colleagues do, your manager does. It's fairly straightforward. But people management is the biggest challenge I had to face myself. And that's because when you move into the industry, you need to realize that you work with people of all sorts of background and all sorts of knowledge depth, which means you need to communicate with them effectively. Depending on the people you have in front of you, you may need to adapt your speech, you may need to adapt the way you communicate. Sometimes the technical words, even though they are the correct one, they are not understood. So you need to find a way around to make your message across. And sometimes CEO, people in the high rank of senior management, they are not always technical people. And therefore, you need to be careful on how you put your message across, because at the end of the day, the only thing they want to see is profit. So you need to make sure that you fit in a wider perspective, where not everybody is technical people, not everybody is as an expert as you are. So you have to adapt yourself, and you have to make sure that you develop those soft skills that allow you to communicate with them. And all of these skills are tangible because somehow they can be related to one only variable, profit. And that's what the industry wants to see. So the secret to overcome the challenges when moving from academia to industry is that you guys have to turn all the intangible skills that you have, the hard knowledge from academia, the intangible skills from academia, into the tangible skills of the industry. You have to make a switch. You have to turn one set of skills into the other set of skills. So what's the question that now you should be asking me? I'm telling you that that's what you have to do, okay? So how do you do it? This is the question that now we should be asking. So how do we do this? How do we transform the intangible skills into tangible skills? The secret, not so secret, is to master project management skills. And that's because the project management skills embrace a lot of transferable skills, including people management, budget management, risk management, that I'm going to show you later, that allow us to transform our hard knowledge from academia into something tangible that the industry wants to see. So some facts for you guys. 50% of UK employers complain that engineers lack of project management skills. So this complaint is coming from an observation that when a professional from the academia comes into the industry, they are very, very good with their technical job, but then they don't fit in the wider perspective. They don't see the big picture. They don't always understand how their work is fitting into the business, how they are making profit, basically. And these project management skills is the only way to give the right perspective to every STEM professional and understand their role into the industry, into the business they are working for. Project management is not only for project managers. A misconception that I hear is that if I acquire project management skills, it's because I want to become a project manager. That's not true. I'm not talking about the role here. You don't need to become a project manager. You can be whatever you want to in your life. I'm talking about the skills. It's all about these transferable skills of project management that will allow you to navigate the industry realm. It's about the skills. It's not about the role. Engineers coming out of academia lack of a strong project portfolio. You have huge experience with your research projects, but when it comes to the industry, the portfolio is not strong enough for them to show these transferable skills. So somehow it's important that you guys need to use the project management skills to turn and to present your own experience in a format that is suitable for the industry, so that you highlight how you can transfer your academic knowledge into the industry realm and be proficient once you are hired into the industry. So project management skills help you also present yourself and your experience in a format, in a way that is industry friendly. So with project management skills, you can actually execute your academic skills into the industry. I'm going to tell you something now, guys. It's very bold because I'm coming from academia as well, but it's true. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge is pointless. Knowledge needs to be put into use, into some sort of outcome. Depending on your goals, you can decide what this outcome looks like. But if you want to move into the industry, this outcome, chances are, is called profit. So you need to put your knowledge and use project management skills to put your knowledge into profit. It has to generate profit. If you want to move into the industry, you need to be ready to show to your industry that whatever you do is beneficial for them. Because this will translate in efficient way of working, which, guess what? Ultimately is gonna make the company more profitable. So that's why it's important that we master the project management skills to turn our experience, to shift our experience and mindset into tangible skills that the industry wants to see. So we are mentioning these project management skills. So what are these project management skills? I report here the top 6 that for me are the most important. Budgeting and cost management, because this is exactly what the company wants to see. They want to check if you are sensitive enough, in managing budgets, understanding the risk when you have to accept certain type of activities and reject other type of activities. So it's important to understand the impact that your work is having on the business, on the costs, and on the profit. So being able to assess costs of our activities, of the resources working with us, and the profit that we are generating is a paramount. Problem solving. Now, I think that as engineers and STEM people in general, we already have this in our DNA. We are problem solver. The point is we are used to solve problems from a technical perspective only. But when we move into the industry, the problems we are going to be faced are going to be way wider, because we are likely to work with cross-functional teams. And sometimes problems that are not technical are going to affect us technical people. And quite often we are being called into solving those problems, even though they are not technical. For instance, quite often I've had problems with supply chain. Now, I'm not a supply chain person. I don't work in procurement, but I had to work with procurement to make sure we could solve the problem and bring the project under the timeline that we assessed, that we defined, and bring the costs down. Again, costs down. Time management. This is another important skills for every project manager. I think the Gantt charts are going to be like your everyday life when you manage projects. So for every person managing a project and they need to improve the project management skills, the Gantt chart is going to be the document, your best friend every day. So being able to set up timelines, risk associated to the timelines, cost associated to the timelines, the resources you need for the project to meet those timelines, or are key aspects in the industry. This is one of the core project management skills that is going to help the business keep the activities under control. Okay? And that's why it's one of the most important skills. Communication. This is what I mentioned before. When you work in industry, you are likely to work with cross-functional teams and be able to inspire them, be able to get the message across, even though it's a complex message, is critical. And quite often, you have to work with other people and make sure that they fit under the timeline that you need, which means you cannot just go there and say, do this, even though you want to do that. You cannot just tell people what to do. You need to communicate them correctly to make them see clearly what are the issues, what are the goals, and why they need to work under a certain timeline. So communication is important. Risk management, this is another skills of project management. Every time you set something, a timeline, a task, a goal, a delivery schedule, or you set up a team of resources, you need to understand the risks of each decision, each choice. When I say by risk, I normally mean risk of what? Are we losing money? Are we at risk of not delivering the job? Are we at risk to upset the customer? If so, what do we need to do? So be able to assess the risk of each choice that we make for our project is essential. because this will give better control for the business for any contingency plan to minimize the cost and always maximize profit. Leadership. This is connected to what I said before, to communication. So we cannot just tell people what to do, even though sometimes we want to do that because we have a better understanding and better expertise on the topic, because we are technical people, right? We are technical experts, like we said before. So sometimes we just want to tell people, you have to do like this. This is the correct way. However, you are going to find a lot of resistance, even for very small choices. So you need to communicate with them in a way that they feel inspired, they feel led and not imposed to. Okay, so showing them with a simple language why it is important that they do what they are asking them to do. So showing them that they are part of the team. So team mindset, not just I do this because I've got the doctorate, I've got the title, so I'm better than you. So making sure that we lead them to our side. Okay, the art of persuasion. This is a soft skill of the project management that I'm still learning. It's not that simple. It's a continuous learning, and it is essential. So what are the benefits of project management skills for STEM academics, engineers, moving to the industry? Okay, so the first one is improved productivity. Yes, because when we have a timeline control, a cost control, resource control, risk control, we make the job smoother. So we improve the productivity, we get the product out, we get the service out, profit comes in. Again, profit, profit, profit. Cost control, this is again what I mentioned before. If when we have these project management skills, when we master the project management skills, timing, costs, risks, all are connected to each other. And if we optimize those skills, then we can keep the cost under control and maximize the profit. Timely project delivery, yes, because if you master your project management skills, like I said, the first result is that you can deliver the products, the services within the time frame set and make the customer happy. And if the customer is happy, then more jobs are gonna come in, more business is gonna come in, higher profit. Again, profit. And also, please be mindful that when we start to master these project management skills, you overall improve your commercial awareness. So in order to understand why profit is so important, of course, business is made out of profit, but how you can generate the profit. You keep the cost under control, you keep the risk under control, you keep the time under control, but ultimately you either need to deliver a product or you need to deliver a service and you need to make the customer happy. This is the commercial awareness that is critical when shifting into the industry. Whatever the customer wants, it's value. Everything else is waste. We need to make sure of what the customer wants and set up the job successfully via project management skills. Improved communication and engagement. Of course, if you start to manage communications and leadership skills, then you create a better team dynamics and they work smoothly so that all the interpersonal barriers start to lower and people work more happily and therefore more efficiently. Risk control, this is what we already mentioned before. If you know exactly what the customer wants, how to set up the timelines, the milestones, how to set up the costs, how to prevent risks, then you work more efficiently. And therefore, in return, you improve productivity, like we said before. Improved quality output. The moment you start to acquire the project management skills and the commercial awareness, you understand what's out there, what's the customer asking out there, and how we can make them happy. In this way, you can improve the quality of your output. And in this way, you increase profit. Again, profit. Okay, now it's time for a little bit of fun. So I've got some tips for you today, but I'm not a nice person, so you have to earn those tips. So I've created some riddles. Please let me know if you can write into the chat, if you can type into the chat, because I'm waiting for some of your answers to the riddle. So please pop in the chat. Can you guys write in there?
I did have Niall message in the chat before, Valentina, and yeah, Alejandra says she can write in the chat as well. But
Brilliant.
the chat is live.
Okay, so I've done plenty of talking. Sorry, everybody, you had to listen to me, but now it's the fun part. I'm gonna put some riddles up for you to solve it so that you can unlock your tips. So let's go. Okay, first one. Okay, do you guys recognize this picture frame? Yeah, do you recognize it? Yeah, what's this picture frame? Yeah, what is it? LinkedIn. Yes, yes. So what I'm trying to say in here, venture a guess, people? Yeah? No? Do I need to give the answer? Stay online, something close, something close. What do you mean by staying online? Okay, I'm gonna give you the answer. Start using LinkedIn. So I've seen so many people having their profile on LinkedIn. Yay! And then what? They don't use its full potential. They don't use its full potential. They need to be there like they are living and breathing in there. Okay. LinkedIn is from my perspective, it's one of the most powerful professional platforms, okay, where there are different benefits, not only finding the recruiters and the job, because of course, this is the most practical aspect. You put your profile, then you apply for jobs, and that's it. Okay. This is the most practical aspect, but this is not the full potential. LinkedIn is the platform where you can really start to have a market job research so you understand what's the industry demanding, what kind of jobs are there, what kind of skills they are requesting, how we can transfer our profiles to the skills that the industry is demanding, how can I network strategically with people who can support me in achieving my goals. Okay, it's a place where you can actually start to understand what's in the world out there. I've talked with so many academics professionals, from master student to PhD students, and the answer I hear, oh yes, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't use it much, and it's such a waste. Start using LinkedIn constantly, okay? Every day, spend half an hour on LinkedIn with a positive purpose, because you need to learn something from this platform. So whether it's because you want to learn what kind of skills you need to acquire, what's the job market out there, what kind of network I can connect with, and so on. This is important, people. Start using LinkedIn. Start using LinkedIn every day, not randomly, every day. Okay? Come across a bit desperate, and it thought, to be fair, so this is the question from Alejandra. On a more serious note, someone once told me that adding that hashtag can come across as a bit desperate. What kind of hashtag? Are you referring to open to work label? Yeah, it's not necessarily. So I didn't put it. It was necessary for me, but equally I wouldn't label it as a desperate. Some people perceive it as a desperate, but it wouldn't hurt. To be fair, it's not something that it's gonna erase you from the list of people, from the recruiters. You can try to put it. It's not necessary. If you're looking for a job, it's not necessary. If that's what are you asking. Equally, if you want to add it, you're not going to look like desperate. It's just a statement that you are open to work. That's perfectly fine. I'm not so much into this black and white version when they say don't add it, otherwise nobody's going to hire you. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. Equally, you don't need it to find a job. So it's really up to you. What do you feel? Did I answer your question? No problem. Next one, next riddle. Okay, let's go. Riddle 2. Attitude is everything. Okay, what do you think I'm saying with this? What do you think, guys? Venture any guess? Attitude is everything. Yes, keep trying. Yes, yes. Well done, Mohammed. You can't quit after a few rejections. Yes, Alvaro. Yes. Be positive always. Yes, yes. Sadip, sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Be determined. Yes, absolutely, Hariandra. All good. Exactly. So we need to be determined. We need to be positive. We need to stay consistent. Absolutely. And what does this mean at the end of the day? That we need to be ready to learn new skills, ready to develop our skills, ready to embrace the self-development. When we come out of academia, we have great achievements. We've learned a lot of things. But mark me my words, guys. You are way more than your research. You are way more than your papers. At the end of the day, the most valuable assets of your life is you. Okay? You are the most valuable asset of your life. So whatever goal is in your mind, today we are speaking specifically the goal of transitioning to industry, but in general, whatever goal you have in your life, you are the asset that is going to get you there. So always be mindful that you are gonna grow day by day. That's positive. Do never stop learning. Do never stop acquiring those skills that will allow you to achieve the goals of your life. Okay? Does this mean that is this something reasonable, guys? Do you agree with this? And do you agree with the fact that you, your brain, you as a person, you are the most valuable asset to achieve a goal, including moving into the industry? Do you agree with this? Thank you, Alejandra. Yes, totally agree. Yes, at the end of the day, we have to rely on ourselves. Yes, we can ask help. Yes, we can have mentors. Yes, we can have professionals that can guide us. By the end of the day, it's our choice. We need to develop ourselves because we are our own assets of our own life. Okay? Next riddle. Next riddle. Let's go. Your time is now. What do you think I'm trying to say with this? Your time is now. What I'm trying to say with this. Come on, venture a guess. Venture a guess. Compared to what we just said. Exactly. Don't wait for the jobs to come to you. Yes. Don't wait for the future to start acquiring these skills. Yes, because you have to invest in yourself. If you want to achieve a goal, you need to start investing in yourself now. Do not hesitate to learn new things. Absolutely. Thank you, Deepan. Sorry if I misspelled your name. Start now, take actions. Absolutely. Your time is now. And I know, guys, how passionate you are because I know that you spend nights on papers or on experiments. I know because when I had to write my thesis and my papers, I had to spend the nights up. But guess what? Now it's much more than just writing the paper. If you want to take your next step in your career, then you need to prioritize what you need to do, what you need to acquire, and start taking action now. Challenge yourself a bit and get out of your comfort zone. Yes, because when we try to self-develop ourselves, when we try to learn new skills, inevitably we are going out of our comfort zone. And great things come when we exit our comfort zone. Okay? So take action today. Define the goals that you want to achieve. Define why you want to go into the industry in the first place. Define your goals and take the action today to achieve those goals. And chances are, if you want to move into the industry, if that's your goal, start to self-develop the skills, the transferable skills today. Don't wait. It's never too late. It's never too soon to start. So how engineering success supports engineers. So, like I mentioned before to you guys, the reason why I founded Engineering Success is because I want to support engineers like you, engineers like me, overcome the challenges that I had to face myself. I want to empower the engineers to shape the future. I want to empower them overcome the fear and imposter syndrome by building confidence, by helping them building a strong experience portfolio they can be proud of and face the industry realm, and giving practical tools, practical methods for project management skills, which is the key. So this is the reason why I founded Engineering Success. So if you guys want to learn more and are happy, please don't hesitate to contact me. This is my email. I also invite you to follow me on LinkedIn and visit my website. So thank you very much. Any questions?